Most people overpay for car insurance, not because they're careless, but because switching feels like too much hassle. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/Libsyn today. That's JERRY.ai/LIBSYN.
Hey there, island dreamers, locals, and anyone craving a slice of paradise. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, to the Fun in Key West podcast, where the vibe is always laid back, the stories are salty, and the drinks, well, they're definitely frozen. I'm your host, Michelle O'Connor, your unofficial tour guide to the Concord public. Whether you're planning your first trip, your fifth trip, or you're just daydreaming about trading the cubicle for the ocean breeze, you are in the right place. Here's the deal. This podcast is your insider's guide to all things Key West. We're talking where to eat, hello, conch fritters and key lime pie. Where to drink, spoiler alert, there will be rum. Where to stay, and all the quirky, wonderful things that make Key West the one-of-a-kind paradise we all love. Plus, we'll keep you up to date on the latest happenings, festivals, events, maybe even the occasional Hemingway lookalike sighting. And just to keep things spicy, we'll be bringing on some amazing guests now and then, locals, business owners, and people who know the island like the back of their sandy hand. So grab your flip-flops, pour yourself a cold one, and let's escape to the island state of mind together, whether you're tuning in from your hammock or your commute, while wishing it was a hammock. We've got all the Key West goodness coming your way. Thanks for being here. It's going to be a lot of fun in Key West. Let's dive in. Thinking about a Key West getaway? May might just be the island's sweet spot. Fewer crowds, warm sunny days, maybe some better hotel deals, and all the fun without the full-on summer melt. Yes, please. Today, we are talking all about what it's like to visit Key West in May. We're getting into the weather, what's happening around town, what to pack, and the little travel tips that can make your trip way smoother. So if Key West is on your calendar this May or living rent-free on your bucket list for next year, stick around and you'll enjoy this episode. Be sure to follow so you don't miss the next one.
Welcome to Fun in Key West, where every day feels like a mini fest. Grab a drink, take it slow. We'll show you where the locals go. Food, fun, and stories to tell. Hidden gems you know so well. Your Key West experts here to say it's fun in Key West every day.
Welcome, everybody, to the Fun in Key West podcast. I am so glad that you are joining me today. And today, it's all about Key West in May. What's happening, what you can expect, all of that. And some of them, we'll talk about it. And if you can't make it to Key West this May, maybe it's on your bucket list for next May. At least you'll know what to expect. If you've got questions or comments or anything, drop them down in the comment section below, and we'll see if I can answer any of your questions or address your concerns. But I think May is one of the best times to visit Key West. The spring break people, the snowbirds have left, the tropical heat wave of summer hasn't hit. You don't have a lot of that issues with hurricane season because it's not hurricane season yet until towards the end of the month, first part of June. And pricing for hotels can be on the downward side. You might find some really good bargains. Again, that's the caveat always if there are holiday weekends, which there is one in May. And you might find a peak in pricing, but the pricing should start to be coming down and be a little bit more reasonable. And that's what I like about May. It's a great time to visit.
like I said, the huge crowds of winter aren't around anymore. The spring breakers have left. You've got the intense heat of summer hasn't quite hit yet. All of that. So May is basically saying, come on down to Key West. It's great. You can escape a little bit of that little cool weather up north and still enjoy Key West. The crowds aren't so bad. And everybody's like, Key West is all like, come on down. There's so much to do. So when we talk about Key West weather, what can you expect in May? Well, your average highs are going to be in the mid 80s, so that's not too bad, right? In the evenings, you can expect the upper 70s. So what you have is the opportunity that you don't have those big swings. So it's mid 80s, it's upper 70s. I call it Goldilocks weather. And I'm going to link below in the comment section a link to my blog post about Key West in May. It has a link to all of the calendar events and everything happening. So be sure to check that out. The rainy season hasn't quite kicked in May, so you're going to have not as many rainy days. Hurricane season officially hasn't started. That doesn't start till June 1. You don't have to, but my point of that is you're still going to want to watch the weather forecast and pack accordingly. So it's the tropics. You're still going to get a stray shower somewhere along the lines. So it's the month where you're going to be able to try some of those really cool outfits that you want to check out for summer. You're going to be able to have sunglasses be the accessory of the day. And I really think that the humidity isn't going to be quite as high as it is in July and August. But I'm here to tell you it's Florida, and if your hair is anything like mine, it's going to have a mind of its own. If you could ever find a product or can invent a product that keeps my hair from frizzing, I'll tell you what, you guys are going to be a millionaire. Keep me up to date on that. So as you're packing to come to Key West in May, you're going to be, obviously, your sunscreen. And we're always going to tell you, make sure that is reef-safe sunscreen. If you don't want to take it with you and bring it with you, what you can do is be sure to buy it on island. Key West Aloe carries it. There's other places around town that carry it, but make sure it's reef-safe. We want to keep the waters around Key West clean and safe for everything in there. You're going to want to bring a hat. I always pack a baseball hat that is the athletic kind, so it can smush up into my luggage. I can use it in the morning whenever I go out for a walk. But if you're sitting by the pool, it'll shade your eyes so that you can read your book, and it gives you that opportunity to protect your hair color. If you color your hair, Florida sun can be a little brutal on hair color. You're going to want to wear breathable clothes. And anymore, I would say most clothes that you buy for summer are breathable. So you make sure that you have that. You're going to want to bring comfortable shoes. And here's where I always have this argument with people. Do you bring flip-flops? Do you bring sandals? Do you bring tennis shoes? Here's my answer. Yes. Bring whatever is comfortable for you to walk around in. So if it's flip-flops and you're comfortable walking around for a while in those, bring flip-flops. If it's sandals, all of that, bring your tennis shoes. Whatever is comfortable for you, you bring. I think May is still going to be the time that you're probably going to do some of your activities in the morning and then plan for some other activities in the afternoon, maybe to escape the heat, plan to be inside for air conditioning or being out on the water or around the pool. We'll talk a little bit more about a fun itinerary idea that I have for May. But I always like to pack and bring a lightweight jacket, because if you go out for a sunset sail or go out in the evening, there might be just a breeze that blows and you might want that extra layer. So be prepared for that. Let's see if there's anybody in the comments saying hi. Paul is saying hi. Hey, Paul, great to saying hi back to you. Now, let's talk about getting to Key West. You can get to Key West lots of ways. You can drive down, and I have to tell you, if you've never driven down to Key West, that is a bucket list thing that you really need to do. And I'm sure a lot of you in the comments are going to be, yes. I would plan, it's at least 4 hours to get down. Remember, it's one lane down, one lane up, and if you have traffic or anything, it's going to be a little bit slow moving, and it's not a fast speed limit. I think the top speed limit is 50 miles an hour heading down and up. So you're going to take your time. I do have in that blog post that I'm going to link here, I have information on the most epic road trip going from Key Largo to Key West, or from Key West to Key Largo, and all of the amazing places that you need to stop and check out and put on your bucket list. So you can drive down. You can fly into Key West. A lot of places have not as many as they used to, but they're starting to pop back up. You can fly into Key West, and a lot of places have direct flights. If not, you're just going to take a connecting flight, usually through Charlotte or Fort Lauderdale or, someplace like that. So keep in mind that you can fly right in. Key West has, if you have not been to Key West in a while, or it's going to be your first time to Key West has a brand new airport. It's easy to get in and out. You've got a lot of TSA lines. I've really never had to stand too long into a TSA line, so keep that in mind. And it has the advanced screening so you don't have to take your stuff out, which I love. I have to tell you, didn't fly for a while, just for circumstances where we're doing a lot of driving. And the first time I didn't have to take my shoes off, and I didn't have to take my electronics out of my baggage, and I didn't have to take all of my clear plastic bag with all my 3-point whatever ounce liquids. I have to say, that was game changing. It was like, I can now pack the way I want to pack. Great. And so they do have those scanners there at the Key West International Airport. Another thing that I find interesting, and if you are coming in from other areas in Florida, consider taking the Key West Express. So you can take it in from Fort Myers or Marco Island. You just got to watch the schedule. You can come in, and it's a great ferry trip. Drops you down into the historic seaport section over in Key West, and you can then either pick up an Uber, or there's a lot of hotels and bed and breakfasts and Airbnbs around that ferry dock, and you can go in and just bring your luggage and have a great trip. So think about it. There's all different kinds of ways to get into Key West. So let's just check it in. Where to stay? Now, I always talk about where to stay is always going to be dependent on what you want to do and what kind of experience in Key West you want. If you want to be 3 minutes from a margarita, you're probably going to want to be closer to Duval and probably the more lively end. And so there's lots of options there. If you're looking for a little bit more quiet area, you're going to be down more on the southern end of Duval and around those areas. If you want a beach, I have to tell you, the southernmost beach resort is great. You've got a lot of places that have access to a private beach. So if that is on something that is like, oh, I'm not on vacation unless I touch sand, consider looking at one of those places. Feel free to DM me. I'll connect you over to Out of Here Travel, who's our sister company, and they'll give you all kinds of recommendations. But May's falling after that winter peak season, and it's a little bit before that drop off in summer, because a lot of people don't come to Florida in the summer, other than if it fits their vacation schedules because of the heat. And it can be a little stuffy and a little warm, but everybody's air conditioned, and you just roll with it. Hotel rates can be a little bit more forgiving, so it may not cost you an arm and a leg in May or the summer season. But again, you can always check out a lot of the pricing, and we're happy to connect you and get you some pricing for those options as well. If you're wanting to be near that nightlife, you're going to want to be walkable to Duval and kind of figure out how you want to spend your time in Key West. Are you going to be doing the nightlife? Are you going to be doing all the things on Duval? So you're going to be staying there. Are you going to be fishing? Then you're going to want to be closer over to where you're going to be on that. Kevin and I really like being towards the southern end. He gets up early, he takes his sunrise photos, and then he doesn't have to travel too far. And I don't want to say the older I get, I guess the more seasoned and wiser I get. I really enjoy the more quieter end of Duval, just having the ability to sit out and have a glass of wine at Vino's, or just people watch on a quieter basis. I like that. So your hotel personality is going to be more that matters than anything else. Or do you need a pool? Are you more about the room? Or are you like, no, that's just a place I'm going to sleep. I don't need a whole lot of space. So, figure in those things. Again, in that blog post, I've got 11 ways to pick the best hotel room. And always happy to walk you through how to choose a hotel or a bed and breakfast or whatever. May is an amazing thing, and if it's your first time to Key West or your 50th time to Key West, I always say there's a few things that you always want to check out and make sure you've done at least once. I would say Sunset Celebration at Mallory Square. I put out, and if you're not following us on Facebook or our YouTube channel, be sure to do that, because I do throw out some questions. I throw out some short videos asking, Mallory Square, is it a one and done? Do you go back? I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. Is this a place that you go every single time? What I found from the feedback and a lot of the comments were, some people do it a one and done. I've done it, don't need to do it again. Others are, I do at least once on every vacation. So, I tend to fall in that one. I like to be there at least once, check it out, see who's there and what's going on. But if you've not done Mallory Square for Sunset Celebration, it starts about an hour before sunset and goes for about an hour after. And you're going to have street performers who are going to be doing acts. You're going to have tarot card readers. You're going to have the ability to buy popcorn sometimes, and they have art vendors, and you're just going to love it all. So be sure to check that. Another thing to check out would be Fort Zachary Park. You can go in during the day, sit on the beach, snorkel, bring in a picnic. Your entrance fee covers an in and out for the day. So maybe you spend most of part of your day or a lot of your day over at the beach and snorkeling and enjoying that. And then you go back, change, get ready for the evening. But then you go back to Fort Zach and check out sunset. Sunset at Fort Zach is absolutely amazing. Another one that a lot of people try to get into is the Dry Tortugas. The Dry Tortugas actually sells out way in advance. So if you're heading out and wanting to hit the Dry Tortugas, plan to look at the calendar for Yankee Freedom and figure out, are there availability for the time that you're going to be there? Go ahead and book it, because that is not going to be a place or a tour that you're going to be able to head in and do a last minute. That is very rare to find a last minute opening for the Dry Tortugas. If the heat gets to be too much, check out one of the museums. Did you know there's 18 museums on the museum trail in Key West? There is, and I have a post over at FunInKeyWest all about that. So go in, you can check out these museums. They would be air conditioned. You can get a little bit of reprieve from some of the heat. And then check out all the history with Key West. Of course, you come to Key West for a lot of the water activities. And May is a great time to be out on the water. You can go snorkeling. Like I mentioned, you can do sunset sails. You can go out and do dolphin watching. Sandbar trips, go out and sit on a sandbar for sunset, or spend the day out on a sandbar with you and your friends. You can go kayaking, paddle boarding, you go out fishing. So maybe you do deep sea fishing, or maybe you hit the flats, all kinds of fishing options. And you can also go out to the reefs. And if you need ideas and suggestions on some of those tours to head out, let me know. I'd be glad to hook you up with some of the best tour operators that we partner with over down in Key West. So what are some of the things you can expect activity-wise to happen in Key West in May? Well, the first part of May, and it's already done, is the Key West Songwriters Festival. This year was the 30th annual, and next year will be the 31st. So if that's something that you want to put on your list to do, be sure to do that for next year. It runs about a week, and what they'll do is they'll bring in rising artists, songwriters, And there's places all across the island that are entertaining and allowing these venues to have these singers and all of these concerts ongoing. And you'll be able to say, hey, I remember seeing that person when you're listening to them on the radio at Songwriters. So that's a really great thing. Be sure to check that out. Some other things happening in Key West, and I have my handy dandy list here. You have on the third Thursday of every month the Walk on White. So you head over onto White Street, and in the evening there's about 20 or so artists and vendors who get together and show off all of their wares and their art. And so you can do a Walk on White and do that. Similarly, you have the first Fridays on Fleming that do the same thing. So the first Friday of every month, you can walk down Fleming and have the same experience. If you are going up and down the Keys and spending some time in Island Murata, they also have the Murata Way Art Walk, so be sure to check that out. You also have a farmer's market that's held regularly over at Truman, so be sure to watch that. I'll have all these links for all of these in the calendar events. You also have the artisan market that heads out, and that is a great thing. That's usually held on Sundays, I want to say. But you have all of the local artists get together, and they show off what they do, and it's a great way to support the local artists. You have Monday night jazz jams with the little jazz club closing. There's been a void for jazz, and if jazz is your thing, be sure to check out those Monday night jazz jams. If you want to go check out something a little fun and a little different, 2 Sundays a month over at the sheriff's office, they have an open house at the animal farm. And you'll get to check out all of the animals that they have over there that they've rescued. Of course, be sure to check out the Key West Theater. Lots of presentations and events happening throughout May and all of the summertime at the Key West Theater. The Studios offers glow hours. So if you go to the top of the Studios building, they offer a bar up there and the ability to see sunset with a view. So that's a great way, if you've not experienced that, to go check out sunset. Of course, there's some fishing tournaments going on. There's also a concert over at the Coffee Butler Amphitheater. So be sure to check that out and see about tickets for availability. And on May 24th, you have the 36th annual Schooner Wharf Minimal Regatta. So basically, contestants come in with very minimal things to build a boat, and then they have a regatta. So that is absolutely a lot of fun to watch if you are in town. Again, I talked about what to pack for Key West. I usually do carry-on. So I play the carry-on game, but you're free to pack a full thing and wait for your luggage. But again, you're going to pack light. You're probably not going to wear everything you wear. You're not going to wear everything you bring, but you're going to want to bring your swimsuit. You're going to want to bring your lightweight clothes. You're going to want to bring a hat and your sunglasses and comfy shoes. And I always like a reusable water bottle. That goes in my personal item. I like a Yeti for the fact that I can throw it in the dishwasher and I don't have to worry about it. So it's empty as you go through TSA, and then you fill it up on the other side. But then if you're going out for walking around town and checking out all of the things that Old Town offers, or going out on the water, exploring a boat or a sunset sail, you can bring that water with you and you'll have it with you. So who should go to Key West in May? Everybody, right? Everybody should go to Key West in May. It's for people that aren't looking for the overwhelming crowds. You're not necessarily looking for the holiday, entrapments or the holiday ornaments and all of that. You're wanting to be on a romantic escape with your significant other. Maybe it's a first-time visitor, so it's not so crowded and it's not so hot. Music lovers, especially for Songwriters Festival. But if you've missed a Songwriters Festival, don't worry. There's lots and lots and lots of live music every day, everywhere. And what I always tell people is, as you're going in, and if you just don't like the music that they're playing, get up, leave, go 2 doors down. They're going to be playing something different. There's always something going on. And, anybody that wants to go out on the island and explore the water and go on a bike ride and all of that. So how would you spend a day exploring Key West in May? Well, I'd say you'd get up early, maybe go for a walk down to Duval, grab a coffee and a light breakfast, and then walk around. And when it gets a little warmer, maybe you visit the Hemingway House or one of the other museums, and you tuck yourself into some air conditioning. In the afternoon, maybe you head over to Fort Zack, spend some time on the beach, pick up something to go, maybe from one of the cafes around, and have a picnic on the beach. And then maybe you head back and you take a nap by the pool, and then you head out for a sunset sail or experience sunset at Mallory. And then maybe you have a late dinner or catch something that, maybe you hit a few places for some light snacks or appetizers, listen to some live music, and then you end the night with a nice slice of key lime pie. I think that sounds like a pretty good day, right? Some of the mistakes that I've seen people make, and that they've reached out to me and said, "Hey, Michelle, this didn't work out, and here's some of the common things that I find, and so I'm going to let you know. Here's your tips for the day." Assuming you need a car. Nope, you don't need a car. If you are flying in, don't rent a car. If you are driving, just park it and leave it. Parking is going to be a nightmare. And the last thing you want to do is spend your vacation driving around trying to find a parking space. There are taxis, there are ride shares that you can do. You can rent a bike, there's other ways to get around. Key West, Old Town especially, is very walkable, and I wouldn't have a car. So don't bring a car unless you absolutely have to. Don't forget your sunscreen. Just because you can go outside, I'm just going to be outside for a little walk, I'm going to go grab some coffee. If you're fair and you burn, you're going to burn. So be sure to protect yourself, wear your hat, and get your sunscreen. Again, not booking the dry Tortugas before you show up. Getting a last-minute reservation to the dry Tortugas is usually impossible. So if you're wanting to go to the dry Tortugas, make sure you book those early. Overpacking fancy clothes. Key West is come as you are, flip-flops, shorts, t-shirts. It's not something real fancy. There are, maybe if you're going out to Latitudes for a dinner, you might want to have something a little more dressy, but I'm not talking dressy. I'm talking a little more dressy. So don't overpack those fancy clothes. Here's another thing, trying to do too much in one day. Bucket it out and say, this is what I'm going to do today. These are the one or two things I really want to do today or see today. And then just let the day transpire and be as it is. Too much planning makes, I think, vacations too rigid. There's so many things that you're going to pop in and check out, and maybe you're going to find a band that you're like, oh, I don't want to leave. And so leave room for a lot of those spontaneous moments that you're going to have. Be sure to check your our calendar of events, and that's over at FunInKeyWest.com. Be sure to check that out, because if there's something that you really want to do, make sure you put that on your calendar, but don't overplan your vacation. And make sure you hydrate. It's warm. You're probably drinking adult beverages more than you normally do, so make sure you hydrate, because that will sneak up on you very, very quickly. So make sure you do that. So May is one of the best times, I think, to visit Key West. Well, if you follow me long enough, you're gonna know I always say every month is the best month to visit Key West. But May's a pretty good month to visit Key West. You can be out on the water. The chances of rain are minimal. The weather's not too hot yet, so I think it's a great time to visit Key West. There is a ton more information over at FunInKeyWest.com. Be sure to check that out. There's lots of guides over there. And if you have any questions or want some ideas on where to stay and things that you can see or do, and you just don't find it readily over on our website, feel free to reach out. So let's check our comments. Edie he's talking about, what about moving to Key West? Well, what about moving to Key West? There are a lot of opportunities in Key West. I did a full blog post about the cheapest places to live in the Florida Keys. Be sure to check that out. But if it works out for you, there's lots of options, and just check it out. There's a lot of information over there. In the meantime, as you're exploring our website, we also have the book club over there, so you can check that out. We have a book every month that has some connection to Key West or the Florida Keys, and we're having a lot of fun, so be sure to check that out. We have our private Facebook group, so you can check that out, and be sure to sign up. It's all free, and it's virtual, so you can live those life. So in the meantime, you guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the community. And you guys have a great evening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking all things Key West in May. If this episode has you mentally packing flip-flops, sunscreen, and at least one outfit your suitcase probably doesn't need, well, same. For more Key West tips, travel guides, and planning help, head over to FunInKeyWest.com and be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any more episodes filled with all of these island insights, local favorites, and all the fun stuff that makes Key West, well, Key West. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated. Forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic!
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/zip to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip.